What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Cork to Glory. This is episode number 45. And we start today's stuff with a look at fixtures for November. As you can see, just the 4 games coming: Sheffield United, Crystal Palace away, our first game against the Red Devils in the series, and then Birmingham City, last year's Championship playoff winners, away at St Andrews, wrap up the month. And so for the first game of the 4 then, it would indeed be Sheffield United. The Blades coming to Turner's Cross to take us on here, and just 15 minutes into the game, the perfect start. Rory Keenan giving us the lead early, and this is why we rejected that massive bid from Real Madrid in the summer transfer window. Keenan is just the heartbeat of this team, man. He's the driving force. You don't see what he does on the defensive end for this team, but on the offensive end as well, can often chip in with an assist or a goal every now and then as well. He is just the perfect box-to-box in this team. The Blades would find a leveller though right before the break in what was a 1-1 draw, so back-to-back draws for Cork City, and the fans getting a little bit restless at full time as well. And I was like, really? I mean, seriously? And okay, fair enough. We probably should have held on to the win there and found a winner towards the end of the game. I was pushing, pressing, just couldn't find a second goal. You see Troy Parry here talking about the fact we're playing him left wing. And I forgot to mention this as well. I did start training him left wing at the very end of the last episode as well. It's going to take him a long time, like a season and a half, possibly 2 seasons to become an official left winger, but I genuinely do believe he'll be better out there, as I don't want to phase Bell out to the wing, as we know he's our best goal scorer in this team. But yeah, the fans getting a bit restless there. I mentioned it before, like crowd animations in FIFA, I do believe they're nowhere near as bad as they used to be, but they still could be worked on. I genuinely don't believe the crowd would be like, in real life, with our team newly promoted to the Premier League, sat in mid-table right now, already had some great results against Chelsea and Spurs at Turner's Cross. I can't imagine they'd be showing that much displeasure after a 1-1 draw. But anyway, something for EA to think about for the future, I guess. But still, for the following game of today's episode, 2nd of 7, taking on Crystal Palace away at Selhurst Park. Took the lead early into the game there, and unfortunately Jordan Nye would level for Crystal Palace and make it 1-1. So the Eagles back on level terms. 5 minutes before the break though, a chance to restore our lead and get back in front. Eamon Cunningham finds Keenan, and what a strike from our box-to-box. Absolutely excellent finish from Rory there as he tells the fans to calm down. Love him to pieces, man. 150 million bid from Real Madrid. I'm sorry, Galacticos, but he's not your latest one. He's staying here. I love the guy to pieces. And in the second half, he's still leading by a goal. Wanted to extend the lead and get a 2-goal cushion, as we know defensively this season we've not been that great. And 3 minutes after the hour mark, Big Leo already with his second goal. Oh no, it's not. It's his first goal, sorry. It's not his second goal. It's his first goal in the Premier League. Makes it 3-1 to Cork City with a bullet header, as you know he loves to do. Gets us the 2-goal cushion I was craving. Gives us some breathing room. And as I tried to play out from the back there, I gave the ball away. Palace found themselves a leveller with just about a minute to go, but I thought there's no way I'm surrendering this lead, man. I'm making sure we get the 3 points here, and a big victory away in England, and we'd wrap it up deep into stoppage time as well, with virtually the final kick of the game. Rory Devine gets his first Premier League goal. Lovely finish into the top corner as well, and I just love these scenes. Absolutely awesome. And I know I sound like such a broken record, and there are so many things I say on such a regular basis, but honestly, this is one of the things that I would just always say to you guys. If you're looking for immersion and realism when you're playing the actual physical matches in a career mode save, always take note of where the away fans are housed, because it looks really, really cool when you celebrate with them, especially after a late goal like that one there, which wrapped up the 3 points. So 4-2 away in London, and for the following game of today's episode, 3rd one of the 7, Manchester United coming to take us on at Turner's Cross. Starting the campaign off, we've been absolutely fantastic. Haven't lost a home game so far. Turner's Cross is looking like a fortress, but every now and then a fortress can be breached. And this was definitely one of those games. Yeah, we were trailing by a goal at the break, and then in the second half, I don't know what happened, but after the Red Devils scored their second, it was like lights out. I literally just could not stop the man. Every time they came forward, it was unbelievable. The floodgates just completely opened. I mentioned before, sometimes it really does feel like that. Maybe it's a psychological thing. When the AI get like a 2-goal lead, they then just start dominating. This was just one of those games. I conceded 3 goals in I think about 15 minutes, and yeah, just was powerless to resist. The Red Devils ran away with it. Heaviest defeat of the season so far: Cork City 0, Manchester United 4. Very tough way for our home record to finally come to an end. Unbeaten home record, I should say. Finally come to an end. So yeah, the Red Devils tore us apart in that game, 4-0 at the final score. And following that, How interesting was this? Barry, the club captain Sharky, coming to me saying that he's worried that the club isn't meeting their demands. The boys aren't unified at the moment. We don't look like a team that are motivated to win anything. And I was like, Barry, we're not trying to win anything anyway. We just want mid-table. We're not trying to win anything other than enough games to get us enough points to secure Premier League football. But yeah, Sharky saying there could be some dressing room issues. Let's hope that's not the case. And after a goalless draw against Birmingham, no goals in our last 2 games. As you can see by the league table here, 13 or 14 games into the season, regardless of who, depending on who you support. 12th place, 16 points on the board, 6 clear of Brighton, and I think it's about 9 or 11 clear of Brentford and Birmingham in 19th and 20th place as well. So a win there at St Andrews would have been absolutely massive. Unfortunately, I had to settle for a clean sheet and a goalless draw. But it's still not been a bad start. I mean, like, yeah, Barry Sharkey talking about dressing room issues potentially arising there. We're not a team that's motivated to win anything. It's the first season in the Premier League. This is a marathon, not a sprint. I mean, obviously, we're taking the worst team in FIFA to the best. Hopefully, some point, touch wood, that will happen. This is a marathon. It's going to take some time, and I don't think we need to get ahead of ourselves here. In the first season, where we are right now, 12th place, that's a good first season in the Premier League. Absolutely no reason to get ahead of ourselves and start critiquing too many things. Yes, we've had a couple of bad defeats, but for the most part, I'm pretty pleased with how the season started off so far. So we enter December, as you can see, we have a scouting update and an academy update as well. You might notice Christensen, who we changed the position of in the last episode, he's now 58 overall. I love it. I know you guys are saying to me, but I love it when you change a player's position and they jump up several ratings. It just feels so cool knowing you're finally going to, see the best of them, if you will, in their best role. And as you saw our fixtures for December, we've got a few big games coming in the final calendar month of the year, including Leicester City, our first game of the month, coming to Turner's Cross here as we aim to return to winning ways. And we've got Manchester City and Liverpool this month as well. Super excited for both of those teams who are yet to face so far in the save. So yeah, for the first game of December, little bit of pressure on my shoulders heading into the game based on what Barry Sharkey was saying, and also back-to-back games without a win and not the best run of form. So taking on Brendan Rodgers' side, looking to make a statement here at Turner's Cross and return to winning ways on the back of the last home game being a humiliating 4-0 defeat. There are some games where I start off and I'm just in attack mode from first whistle. This was one of those games. Cunningham gives us the early lead and gives us the early advantage. 1-0 Cork City, and then 21 minutes into the game, leading by 1, Leo Yates gets his second goal of the season already. Second goal in 4 for Big Leo as Cork double the lead, and the Premier League now are getting their first taste of the corner routines that Cork City have. And it was like when Stoke City first got promoted to the Premier League, and I made this comparison many times between Rory Delap's long throw-ins and our receiver corners. The Premier League teams didn't know how to cope with Stoke City when they first came up, and that is what's happening now with Cork City's corners. Yes, it's Rory Delap's long throw-ins version 2. Big Leo heads in his second goal of the game, bags his brace and makes it Cork City 3, Leicester City 0. With his third goal in 4 games. Oh my god, I love this guy to pieces, man. Big Leo, and it's so cool to have like a niche like this coming out to the Premier League. And the big boys, they don't know how to cope with this old school stuff, putting a big man next to the goalkeeper on corners. I love it. It's so much fun, and it's one of the reasons why I love this save so much. It's a real unique niche part of this save, and I love Big Leo, and I love the fact his corners once again worked for us again. There's a 3-0. Big victory there against Leicester as we bounce back on the back of no wins in our last 2 games. But for the following game of today's episode and the penultimate one today, unfortunately taking on last year's championship winners, Southampton, we pushed them every step of the way as we both gained promotion together. But as I mentioned it last season, even though we went up with them, or we were only a few points behind the end of the season, Southampton were clearly the best team in the championship last season. So unsurprisingly, they won that game by 2-0 pretty comfortably there. Yeah, we're not that far off them in terms of our level, but it is a reminder we're still not quite where we want to be just yet. So 2-0 the final score as we return to a loss there and just 1 win in our last 4 games. And for the final game to this episode here, our first test against Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool in the Premier League, and taking them on at Turner's Cross here. I didn't want to have 2 defeats in our last 3 games in Ireland, and 55 minutes in a game where I was playing quite well, this was worrying to see. Play gets called back after Troy Parrott goes up for a header with Presnel Kimpembe, stays down, forced off on the stretcher, and that is worrying signs for our club record signing. The £27 million man forced off on the stretch. How bad is that injury going to be? We'll find out very soon. So still tied at 0-0. Again, I was playing really well. I was defending really well, but unfortunately after Parrott's injury, I kind of fell apart a little bit. I guess I lost my concentration a little bit. My defending was pretty poor after that moment there. And after Collie scored their first, he also grabbed their second in stoppage time as well. As Liverpool, just like Southampton, beat us by 2-0 and inflict back-to-back defeats on us this season. Our second defeat in 3 in Turner's Cross as well. Collie with the brace. Klopp's side celebrate a big win as they go level on points with Manchester City to start the season off at the top of the table, 17 games in. They're looking like the front runners, though Spurs are not far behind. But for us, we dropped to 13 on the back of back-to-back defeats, but we're still 8 points clear of Birmingham in the bottom 3. Despite an inconsistent run of form, it's not been a bad start as we approach the halfway point. But that were this episode of Cork to Glory, though, guys. Big thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed today's episode, and if you have, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of Cork to Glory as the January transfer window opens, and we have the FA Cup third round draw and tie as well. Very soon.